James, hello.
How's it
We
going?
met you last week in Duvel Blues, where we saw you perform, which was great.
Thank you.
You know, the festival is sponsored by one of the biggest beers in Belgium, the Duvel beer.
I didn't touch that stuff.
You dare not if you don't drink.
I saw some guys that did indulge and it messed them up.
5 days later, you are in Beer, also a big festival. I think here in it's the biggest. You're a singer-songwriter, is that correct?
I guess so.
Do you like being on the road? Because I think you played every day between the last time we saw you and today.
I definitely like having a job and feeling like I guess having a purpose. So
Yeah.
that is nice. I think I prefer being on the road more than being at home.
Yes.
I don't deal well with off time.
To get some euros in your pocket. Okay, that's the detail. You know that Blues Beer is celebrating 40 years. The festival exists 40 years.
Wow.
We met here Steve Ray Vaughan, B.B. King, man, you name them all. They have been
That's
here in
great.
Beer, yes. And you're one on the list, Early James.
Bottom.
Tell us why you used the name Early. That's not. Is that added to your name, or why do you use the prefix?
It's something to aspire to be. I'm usually late, but I think when I was a kid, I hated my name, and I really liked Justin Townes Earl, and so it's kind of loosely based on Justin Townes Earl.
Yes, because your real name is Frederick James Mullis Jr. Well, you're very, very young. And you're from Alabama. Is that a musical region or a good place to be as a musician?
I think it's fine. Like I mean, you're kind of adjacent to some good markets traveling wise, but and Birmingham is a pretty cool music scene. I think it's pretty eclectic, but you know, as far as like being from somewhere and your music sounding like it, I think that point is moot just because of the internet.
Because when you read the books about Birmingham, it was in the 60s, 50s known as the most city against the black people, I think. Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't have any part in that.
No, but I always try to read something about
Right.
the place where you're from. You're a singer-songwriter. How would you describe you as a musician? Just singer-songwriter or more, or what is your style that you try to?
I started out, I think, like listening to country and blues music, and
Yeah.
I think it's a little all over the place. So that gets branded as Americana because
Yeah.
America's good at stealing things. I think so.
What we taste today, it was more than, like you say, the blues, the country, a bit of ragtime I tasted, yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, I just try to, I try to soak up everything,
Yeah.
Equally.
You released until today 3 full-length albums. That's correct, yes. The last one about the albums later, but why did you want to become a musician? Was it something that you got from the environment, or maybe you were destined to become one? I don't know. The question is why did you choose for being a musician?
I think I wish I had a clever answer, but I think it was the first thing that I picked up and did for myself, and not because my dad wanted me to play sports or go hunting or all these.
Yeah.
And music was the first thing that I just could not help but be obsessed with, and I'm still the same way. And I'm very lucky to be able to have a passion and pay the bills with a passion, because I don't think a lot of people get to have that privilege. But I was just obsessed.
It was the only, of it is the only job that you did, being a musician or no?
That's first job was working with my mom at the hospital.
Oh.
I was worked in like a psych ward,
Yeah.
which is probably not the best
One of the best
first job, but I worked there. I worked at a grocery store, and I worked at a pet store in Birmingham.
But
Those are the only 3 jobs I've had. I've done a little bit of construction in COVID when there were no gigs.
then you said, I want to be a musician.
I was doing music all
nice
along.
job, you meet
Right.
people, you can do what you have in your head and
Yeah,
play your songs.
yeah,
Okay, 3 full-length albums. The first thing, all the albums, they don't have what I say, what we call normal titles.
hmm
I go back to the first one, 2020, Singing for My Summer. Was that the reason that you called the album that you had to sing for?
yeah. I mean, that's what I do. So
Yeah,
Um,
that's right, yeah.
yeah. I've got a song called "Singing for My Supper" that hasn't been released yet, and we were talking about, because like Led Zeppelin did that like songs for the Holy. I'm not that big into Led Zeppelin, but they like named a record after a song that wasn't released,
Yeah.
and then later released it, and that was something Dan Auerbach.
But the first one I can understand. You had to play
Yeah.
to gain money for yourself.
Mhm.
I understand. The second one, Strange Time to Be Alive.
Yeah.
That you must explain why you called it.
Well, it came out, and I think
May I interrupt you?
sure.
The people ask me, do you know Early James? I said, I heard him last week in Liverpool Blues, but it's a strange one.
Yeah.
I told them, it's not a normal one.
Yeah.
But when I look at the title, Strange Time to Be Alive, I more and more understand
Yeah.
you and the songs, and because your songs are not the easy ones.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it was the name of, I think, the first song I wrote during COVID when everyone
Yeah, 22.
was
yeah.
taken off the road, and
Oh yes, it's
I spent the better part of a year, kind of through the first year of COVID. I would write a new verse, so every verse in that
Yeah.
song is based off of a season in the
Mhm.
year, and that was the first time I'd done that, where I was like, I'm just gonna see how this year plays out,
Mhm.
because I figured it was gonna be at least, interesting enough to write a song about. So each verse is about a different season.
I had to know it 22, yeah.
Mhm.
Corona, yes. But your latest album, Medium Raw. You were somewhere in a restaurant eating a big steak? No. No.
Anthony Bourdain has I believe a book that he wrote called Medium Raw, and we were talking about, during the recording process, Dan wouldn't let me get a lot of takes.
No.
Like, it would get to the point where we would be 2 or 3 takes in, and he was like, "You don't want it to be
No.
too cooked," or he said something like
Not,
that.
not,
and I was
not
like-
too long, but
Yeah,
not
you
early,
know.
medium raw, yeah.
And so it just kind of came out that way.
More and more, I understand.
Mhm.
Thank you. But also the titles of your songs sometimes scarify.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think so.
Which ones?
Yeah. I've been listening to your album. What is trying to say, but you don't have a, yeah, how would I say, an easy feeling when I hear you singing.
Right.
Yeah. But I think that is what you want to bring.
I think a little bit.
The last one is released with a famous guy, Dan Auerbach, I think I pronounce it good.
You got it.
Everybody knows him, Black Keys.
Mhm.
He was interested in you, or you, I think, were interested in him. How did it work? You
I-
met him or?
I was a big fan of the Black Keys
Yeah.
in high school, and but I met him because my first manager was dealing with Dan because he was representing Kendall Marvel,
Yeah.
and it was Clay Bradley. Long story short, my roommate that had moved, I joked that he moved to Nashville for me, so I didn't have to. He ran into Clay at a Katie Pruitt show and showed a YouTube video to Clay. Clay had to meet with Dan the next day and showed Dan a YouTube video. And this is before Clay and I even knew each other. And then he lied and said that he was a client, and he hit me up, and I met him, and it was, felt like a fever dream.
The last album was not recorded in a studio. It was recorded in a chateau, Honky Chateau. Normal property of, I don't know, I have the name, Buddy Jackson, yes.
Yeah, Buddy, great artist, but old house for the States, 130 years is pretty old for us.
Why did
Probably
you,
not old for
why did you went to that place? It was out of your, I call it a comfort zone. You went to a strange place and there we recorded it.
That was Dan's idea, as far as I know. I didn't know until the day of. I called them because I was running late,
Yeah. Oh.
and I was like, "Hey, I'm running late." And he was like, "Oh, we're not even done setting up the house." And I was like, "The house?"
Yeah.
And he's like, "Oh, I forgot to tell you we're recording at this house." So he sent me the address. So.
Do you think that you can hear that in your songs? That results in songs the way that you sing it, or maybe the lyrics? I don't know.
I think there probably is a level of discomfort that you can maybe is a little palpable because I didn't know what the hell was going on in the moment.
You didn't write all the songs yourself, no?
Mm.
No. When I'm good informed, there was a man, Langholm Slim.
Yeah,
He wrote one of the songs, yeah.
we wrote it together.
Oh, together, yes,
Yeah.
go. Okay.
Yeah, Go Down Swinging. He and I wrote that one.
Yeah. Another thing is all the songs with just two overdubs, two actions after the recordings, overdubs.
There were two.
Yeah, two
there was a guitar solo and
Ragdoll,
Ragdoll,
and nothing.
and Nothing Surprises Me anymore. But other than that, we kept all the mistakes.
But as I said, also when I try to understand the lyrics, that are not lyrics wrong one,
Yeah.
a normal one. Clever words, the way you say things, just great.
Thank you, man.
That's just great.
That's my favorite part.
It's a positive thing, but just great. Unique, I call it. Unique.
Appreciate it.
But also the way you perform. You're always trying to drive the drummer and the bass player. They look at you and they know you have to follow. But it's just one question. There were 3 guitars on the but you just play on one.
Yeah, it was a 40-minute set, and
You didn't need them, yeah.
They're there just in case, but we ran out of time. So.
Oh yeah. I have some questions, general questions to finish. Do you have still open items when you look to the future? Things that you want to do? Always people say items on the bucket list, or let's just call it things that you want to do.
It's weird because I think of like, if you had told like 16-year-old me or 15-year-old me what has happened so far, I've already somehow done that. So it's weird because I mean all I want to do is make a living and continue to make art and play music with other people and just.
You take what comes.
Yeah, and I'm not too worried about it. So far, so good. So
That's nothing wrong.
yeah.
What was the best advice that you got as a musician that someone told you, early James, that you should do or must do?
Recently was to not perform tense. Like I've started to loosen up during sets and like trying to be in the moment and realize it used to be like a race to get it over with because it was so nerve-wracking, and now I would look forward to it, but then as soon as I got up there I was so scared and just wanted it to be over, and now I've finally started to enjoy it. And,
Okay, you
and just relax.
You understand why, and then you enjoy it. That's okay. I have a last question. Do you think that by being a musician that changed your life as a person or your life generally? Do you think that you became a different person by playing on scene and?
I think I've probably developed some habits that I wouldn't have had otherwise, but maybe, I think I don't feel any different than I felt before I played guitar. So.
Good question.
Yeah.
But Mr. James, that were my questions. Thank you for being here
Thank you, man.
in Peer. Thank you for being in Duvel Blues, and hope that you come back to Belgium.
I do too.
That we can join you in another place, another show.
Yeah.
That were my Rootstime questions. Thank you, lots.
Thank you, man. Appreciate it.